So we've learned a little bit more about the attack on the uranium facilities. Let's go ahead and keep you guys up to date. What's going on, guys? It's Ricky. Again, I'm going to make sure that I do my part as we begin to learn more to just simply keep you guys up to date. All I literally ask you to do is to subscribe to the channel and drop a thumbs up if you feel like we earned it. First off, I'm very happy to see Bitcoin absolutely tanking. It went from highs, this was before, of 110, now actively selling off below 100. We've talked about this for the past few days. If you've been watching my video, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It was holding support here, and now that Bitcoin is selling off, again, overall markets are closed. So this is just to support the case that not just Bitcoin's falling, but the rest of the market should be falling as well. Markets, like I've said also before, were incredibly overbought. So we'll see if this is the trigger that the markets needed to begin to flush out, because we all know that the markets did not belong up here. Now, what have we learned so far? So supposedly, according to Trump, any retaliation by Iran against the United States of America will be met with force far greater than what was witnessed tonight. Thank you, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. Okay. I mean, that's what everyone was already kind of like questioning, right? It's like, okay, we attacked the Iranian facilities, their uranium enrichment plants. What I began to kind of like ask myself is, there's a few videos going around. None of them show like a crazy huge explosion. I obviously am very uninformed of these B-2 bombers. I mean, I'm not a military person by any means, right? So therefore, I thought, we've seen a bunch of different attacks. Obviously, these locations of these uranium enrichment plants are located in what look to be pretty unpopulated areas, right? So I thought this was pretty interesting. All right, I'll ask the dumb question. How do you bomb a nuclear facility without turning Earth into a fireball? And I thought this response was really good. You guys let me know if you guys agree. So while fission and fusion bombs both work differently, traditional explosions are not going to set them off. They aren't traditional explosives like you blow up a dynamite factory. With a fission bomb, you essentially split heavy atoms, which releases energy, and neutrons that split more atoms, causing a chain reaction. With fusion bombs, you're subjecting lighter atoms to extreme heat and pressure. Bombing the facility would not do it. Not to mention, it's an enrichment facility, not a bomb storage. I thought that was very well said, because for a lot of us, we're like, okay, how do you bomb one of these but nothing explodes, right? Well, again, the whole idea of all these different renders and videos, and I'd encourage you guys to look into it if you're even curious, is that these enrichment plants, they're like bunkers that are like 80 meters below ground, so hundreds of feet below ground. And supposedly these B-2 bombs have bombs that can actually go to these bunkers. It's obviously not something that I'm very informed about, but all these different renders and animations that I've seen about it, it's quite interesting. But the part that I found to be kind of curious was, I don't even know if I have it here. Oh, okay, this is it. So some are saying that Iran is reporting that minimal damage was actually done to these bunkers. So this was posted, and I don't know if it's true or not. It says, an act of theater. Trump's big mouth has boxed him into a corner. Iran wouldn't play his game. So he had to bomb Iran to save face. He bombed two empty facilities that had been previously struck by Israel. And he bounced 6 bombs off of indestructible facilities for dose, claiming destruction despite the opposite being the case. That's it. A contained strike, a nothing burger. And when you do look it up with these different Iranian news outlets, they are stating that minimal damage was done to the tunnels, not to the actual bunkers. Nonetheless, I mean, it is an attack. It's officially getting the U.S. involved. Would I say that this is officially full-out war? No, I mean I would say more based off of your definition of war. It's definitely inching closer, because now the U.S. is not indirectly but directly, affiliated with these attacks on Iranian land, right? And the response is pretty interesting. It's pretty scary to say the least, right? Because it's not really Iran that is our main concern. It's Iran's allies. At least for me, that's kind of like where my mind went. And then when you see things like this of like Russia's Dmitry Medvedev says a number of countries are ready to directly supply Iran with their own nuclear warheads. And then supposedly you say, or there's posts that are saying North Korea is willing to provide nuclear weapons to Iran in order to secure lasting peace. And again, it's like we have countries like supposedly Russia, if this is true, countries like North Korea. Obviously, they're not our closest allies, right? And these two countries are very powerful and very dangerous countries. So it's important to take that into consideration, because if they do support Iran with these nuclear weapons, then that would lead to a much larger or significant reaction and involvement from the US, right? The thing that I also want to share is the biggest concern about all of this is that Iranian parliament approves closure of the Strait of Hormuz in response to US strikes. Roughly 20% of the world's oil supply passes through this strategic waterway. And this is what they're talking about right now. As soon as this was announced, a bunch of boats had to turn around. It's going to be very interesting to see for the overall markets how crude oil continues to rocket. And remember, this only exacerbates the inflation that we're set to experience as crude oil prices skyrocket, which means that energy prices will also rocket and fuel at the pump will also get more expensive. And this gets tracked on our CPI data reports. It's not going to be on the next report, but it will take time, but it will have an effect. And now think about this. Now the Federal Reserve wanted 2% target for our inflation rate. We are at 2.4%. We're so close. We came from 9.1%. From 9.1 all the way down to 2.4. Now, if energy begins to skyrocket, fuel oil begins to pump, energy prices will begin to go up, and our CPI report and inflation report will begin to rocket again. So close to 2%. We're at 2.4 just for it to go back again. And again, the Federal Reserve proving the case that they are not going to be cutting interest rates anytime soon, because if inflation is going up, why would they need to cut rates, right? It's this whole domino all over again. And one of the last things that I wanted to share with you guys, let me see if I can pull it up, is there was someone that commented that says, Ricky, I don't like that you're getting political on your channel. And I think if you have common sense, you understand what I'm talking about on this channel. I'm talking about news and updates that will impact the stock market. The US getting involved with Iran directly impacts the stock market more now than ever before. Like, I didn't really have to talk about Biden because, first off, no one cared what Biden said. And second, he didn't really influence markets. It was Jerome Powell who, anytime he spoke, heavily influenced markets. So that was my main focus during, that period of time, or actual news and fundamentals. Trust me, I don't necessarily like needing to keep up with every tweet that Trump posts. But when he posts tweets of, it's a great time to buy now, and markets pump, it's impossible to ignore it. Of, hey, this is why markets are pumping. He is incredibly involved in posting updates on what he's doing, and these updates directly impact the stock market. And if you cannot see that because you think everything is so political, then bring your emotions back, control yourself, and understand that even when I was filming videos about Trump, I've made it very clear. I do not care who you vote for, right? I think there's good and bad in all parties out there. And the whole point of voting for anyone is because it's in your best interest. I'm not here to convince you otherwise. My main focus is the stock market. And just like I'm not here to convince you what you should or should not trade or invest in, you think I care who you support? It's irrelevant to me. Just like my my vote is irrelevant to you. I'm just an individual, right? So let's not get it twisted. My thing is that I don't care that I voted for Trump. I can judge and criticize him as much as I want when I see that what he's saying is bullcrap. Very simple, right? Because look at this. Back in 2013, he loves to judge people when they're in that position. Remember that I predicted a long time ago that President Obama will attack Iran because of his inability to negotiate properly, inability to negotiate properly, not skilled. So he is mocking, at that period, the President of the United States because he's properly not skilled in negotiating and had to lead to an attack on Iran. But now, fast forward, 12 years, we're in the same boat. But now every Trumpy or Trumper will simply support what it is that Trump is doing, and they will excuse it. I'm not here to say that what the U.S. is doing is right or wrong. It's my opinion is irrelevant when it comes down to that. My thing is when he says one thing and then does another. I know for a fact there are so many people that are turning against Trump because of one specific reason. He's getting the U.S. involved. And it's not just me. It's a lot of people that voted with the policy of against war and against getting involved in any war with Iran. Now he is doing the exact opposite of what he ran on, right? Not getting involved. And now getting involved, and this is what I'm highlighting. And people get offended because, again, it's facts over feelings. It doesn't matter that you want to support him. It's at the end of the day, he's human. He's going to make mistakes, just like the people in your life. You might love them, but guess what? They're not perfect. You're not going to agree with everything it is that they do or say because there's mistakes and you're two different individuals. You're not going to see eye to eye in everything it is that you guys do. Why is Trump any different? Why do you guys need to agree with everything that this person does? It's okay to acknowledge that, no, you're right. I need to stay level-headed. I'm an individual. I have my own opinions and perspectives, right? So yes, I don't agree with what it is and how it is that maybe he might be going about something. Nonetheless, I didn't even say that. I just said that, hey, he previously was against the war. He's mocked people or presidents that got us into war. And now what? He got us into war. But people are, but this time he had to. And I don't care, right? They always kind of have to. And if you're involved with that administration enough, then you'll justify it. That's not the point. The point is you say one thing and you do another. That's what I'm here to share. And if that offends you, then again, facts over feelings. No one actually cares. So again, overall markets dropping. It should be a very interesting live trading session on Monday, and I hope to see you there. So again, as markets drop, we of course will be happy to short. Our job is to keep you guys up to date, and as things either get worse or get better, we'll make sure that we do our part. And if you guys want to join our live trading session, you can literally join for $1.35 a day. Like you've seen in this video, I like to stay level-headed. I don't care if I voted for someone. I don't care if I previously thought something. If things begin to change, sentiment begins to change, then I'm here to voice it, right? And if you value these updates, then I think that you also value the way that we break things down during those live sessions. Again, second link in the description down below, and I'll see you tomorrow at Market Open for our live trading session. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.